Good morning, everyone. It's my pleasure to be here, although I'm first time attend this Gosim. So, Michael, I can prove this is the biggest Gosim event in Paris. Okay. It's such a pleasure and a pressure to speak after two scientists, especially the mathematics and physics. So it's an honor for me. And to stand here in Gosim 2026 in this city, Paris, it's for a century. Paris is such a place where new ideas about civilization was first written down. From the encyclopedia to the Declaration of Rights of Man. Paris has a quite habit of giving humanity the new construction while the old ones no longer fit. So my name is Bill Ren, and I'm sitting as the Chief Science Open Source Landscape Officer, and I sit also on the board of CNCF and Open Wallet Forum and some foundations. So by today, I'm not representing my only a company. I'm here to talk as an open source builder to the room of this full of open source builders. So the talk is called Lights Out Community, reflection on the open source paradigm shift in the AI area. So let me start with a question about, I keep asking myself, and asking the engineer I met, what are we actually living through? There's a comfortable answer, and there's the true answer. The comfortable answer is on the left side of the slide. It says it's just another tool, upgrade. We went from the editor to the IDE to the AI coding. The wheels being just faster, but the road, the cargo, the driver still the same. So productivity goes up. Division of labor stays same. The organization chart stays the same. It's just another faster horse. But the true answer is on the right. It's the same people, but the substrate underneath has changed. Human collaboration become AI orchestration. And carbon time, the rhythm of meeting, hands off, sleep is being replaced by silicon time. The rhythm of always on agent, boundaries between the roles and being rejoined, and the assumption we build on companies are quietly being overturned. So please remember this sentence, because the rest of the talk is from it. We are not accelerating the old area. We are entering this new one. Okay. So I want to pause for a moment because the argument is just I made. It's not what is enter this new area is not just my view. It's some kind of argument in our field. It has its clearest voice. This is Andre Capacci, the co-founder of OpenAI. It's recently he gave a talk in a fireside chat that I think every person is in this room should be watched end to end. So let me give a brief introduction on his talk. He framed the history of software in three versions. This has been known for the industry for quite a while. So software 1.0, human with explicitly code. Software 2.0, human curate this data set, the neural network learns from the weights, and the software 3.0, and this is the area we just arrived. So the AM is the interpreter. The context becomes a memory. The prompt becomes a new paradigm programming language. So these are the new building blocks. And he also gave a kind of example. So he built some small apps like this called menu generation. He upgraded the photo for a menu and got back a richer menu. So traditional stack OCR API database rendering deployment. And this, he tried it again with a multimodal model, photo in, photo out. So one prompt. He looked at his old code and said, so my entire menu generation is redundant. It shouldn't exist. The whole stack evaporated. So second example is same as this shell script versus this markdown document. And then that's what we call is also the jagged intelligence. The key model that can reflect 100,000 line code base, where with a straight face suggests you walk 50 meters to wash your car. So it looks a contradiction. It is a direct consequence where the labs put their training compute power. Capabilities roughly verifiable times training attention. So times data coverage times economic value. So wherever those four overlap, models are superhuman. Where they don't, models are audit stupid. So that's here the capacity deep-state line. The one I can take is this to this central question of this whole talk. So you can outsource your thinking, but you cannot outsource understanding. The agent can do the typing for you. It can do the searching, the reflecting, the testing, but it cannot, on your behalf, know what is worth pursue. The last layer, meaning, judgment, taste, ethics, that stays with you. So here, that's why when we enter this new area, that area. So next page, please. Okay. Yeah. So if we are entering this new area, that area has shape. I want to walk through 4 dimensions of this shape. The first is leadership. For 30 years, software has built with humans on the loop. Humans drove every step. AI won't exist with the tool we picked up and picked down. That was the past. So today we live in a second phase, machine in the loop. Look at what shipped just last month, cloud code. 80.8% this in this software engineer benchmark verified with 1 million token context. And Curtis 3 also with this composer doing cross field linking. And $80 a month for the Pro Plus tier. And the AI is no longer next to the workflow. It is inside the workflow. Humans supervise keynote. But the third phase is already arriving, and it is one most organizations are not ready for, human over the loop. The MCP protocol is just like the USB-C port for AI agent. It's being adopted at enterprise scale. When that happens, humans don't supervise each node. Humans are rise above the loop. We move up to the intent layer and the abstraction layer. So this shift in one sentence from commanding the humans to orchestrating this agent. So if your job is to command humans through a process, your job tomorrow is to orchestrate the agent through an intent. That is not a tooling change, that is a leadership change. So another dimension, the second dimension in the carbon area process was something was narrated. We had reports, we had a stand-up meeting, we had status update. The outcomes was visible, but the process was invisible. It lived in someone's head. It comes out and stored in a meeting room. Machines couldn't read it. We couldn't replay it. Accountability depends on memory and explanation. Parallel work depends on trust. So in the silicon area, the area we are entering now, every decision is ledger data. Look at the panel on the right. An agent decision log, intent, reasoning, constraint, outcome, all machine readable, all replayable. A code commit is no longer just a code commit. It is a status report, the audit trail, and a handoff all at once. This is not just a technical detail. It is a precondition for trustworthy parallelism. If you cannot read the process, you cannot run 100 agents in a parallel way. So because you have no way to know what they did and why. So the second shift is process as ground truth, no narrative. Stop telling the machine what you did. Let the machine say what you did. So the third dimension, this is the one that gets debated most in the boardrooms, and I want to be very precise about it. In traditional software, Microsoft JetBrains, you needed thousands of engineers to build a great IDE. 2,000 plus is normal. So valuations in the trillions, or the company is private and very large. Then came the AI native generation, Cursor. Tens of engineers, $50 billion in valuation. Recent approximated is 60 billion. Then came the agentic generation, what I call the cloud code lineage. So 10 or few core engineers, 300 or 80 billion. Now recently, probably is $900 billion. Look at the number across the bottom. So Nvidia crossed $5 trillion in the market cap. That is not a stock market story only. That is a story about the computer substrate of human work being rewritten. The GPU compute is roughly 1,000 times what it was in 2012. This is a new explanation. So beyond Moore's law, a generic agent in 3,000 lines of code with a 6 times reduction of token consumption, embodied AI company raising 55 billion plus in 100 days. So this is what is changing. What is a common thread? Headcount is no longer the unit of capability. Compute is. The amount of computer one person can leverage through agent, through model, through parallel workflows. That is what defines their ceiling. The people leverage computer can now build what used to require 10,000. So when you plan your next organization, please don't ask how many engineers do I need. So you should ask how much computer can each of my engineers orchestrate. So the fourth dimension here, this is where the title of the talks come from. This is the third dimension. Now we come to the fourth dimension. The next page, please. This is where can you please go to the next page? Yeah. The fourth dimension is where the title talks come from. In the manufacturer world, when a factory becomes so automated that is can run without human operators on the floor. That's yesterday, Anila call it a dark factory. So we call it literally turn off the light. So we call it a lights out factory. The light stays off, the robot keeps working, 24/7, zero staff, always on. So I want to suggest that something similar happening to open source community, and faster than most of us realize. So look at the last month, how intensively the most intensive months in past 2 years for open source AI. The DeepSeek Wave 4, Queen 3.0, Gamma 4, GLM 5.1, Llama 4. 5 foundation model iterated in a single month. So this release cadence has gone from months to days, daily. So this competition is no longer about the next release, it's about the next 24 hours. So and this project driving the pace look very different from the project we are used to. They are so they call it macro organizations, one of few humans plus many agents, and the agents are real co-workers. They are decentralized. No project manager, only intent and arbitration. So these GitHub stars don't grow monthly anymore. They grow daily, and the software they produce is increasingly disposable, personalized, instance generated, used once, regenerated tomorrow. So here is a deep-seated shift I want to sit with for a moment. The audience for the source code is changing. For 30 years, source code was written for human readers. Now be reviewed, to be understood, to be maintained. From now on, source code is increasingly written for models to be parsed, executed, and regenerated by agent. That's a lights out community. Open source isn't going away. The light in the conference room are going off. So now we move to the surface of the foundation. In a paradigm shift is really shifting. There has to be economic substrate underneath it. Let me show that in 3 steps. So in 1950s, the Dinner Club released the first plastic ledger, soon followed by Visa. So this minimum ticket size was about $3. That sounds small today, but And that time it unlocked a million-scale market. And so most of humanity was still locked out because it's only go to the rich countries. Step 2, 1999, the internet payment area. The PayPal, then the Alipay, the WeChat Pay, cash moved to the screen globally. Minimum ticket dropped roughly 100-fold to about 3 cents. So how big market unlocked? Trillions. So every one daily cross small business, gig workers, and entire population is being to those who had a credit card all being involved. So now in 2025, the area we are in right now, something called X402 Foundation. They released this number, macro accounting for AI, API to pay for API, machine paying machines. With this protocol settlement, minimum ticket is now around 200 thousands of cent. So it's so how big market potential? No one know. Maybe more than trillions. So it's I think it's maybe define the entire new agentic economy. So this is quite a lot buried in this 70-year story. So each 10 times final ticket unlocks roughly 100 times of a bigger market. I call it the 100 times law. So every fold of granularity that we collapse opens the door to the next billion participants. So first humans, now it's machines. So why this matters to open source? Because every revolution in granularity sees a new infrastructure stack. Credit card sees this consumer financial, and internet pay sees for the mobile commerce. And the X402 and tokens are now seeding the AI economy. So on chain macro service, machine-to-machine trade, agentic real, the economic ground to open source has shifted. The project is now we priced it in yesterday's currency. Okay. So on top of this final payment rail, look at what's happening on demand. In the internet area, the typical user paid about $15 a month for broadband. In the streaming area, $3 to $5 a month for Netflix or some Spotify today. In the token area, a single developer's coding plan is around $150, maybe more. And the top 3 platforms sold out in seconds. So I want to repeat that because it's one of the most striking facts that in our industry right now, coding plans on the top platforms sold out in seconds. Students skip their meals to keep their plan alive. PhD candidates treat tokens as essential research infrastructure. Tokens have quite become the new generation essential means of production. So what's actually changing here is the definition of software consumption. So for decades, so you brought the software for the right to use, but now you also buy the right to intelligence. That's the layer demand stack, the top of the other ones, not a replacement, totally a new layer. So on the right side of the slide, please see this William Stanley Jevons. He observed this law in 1860s. So the more he realized this steam engine to consume the coal, it's 100 times more efficient, yet the total coal consumption rose 1,000 times over the next century. So because the efficiency model called chip made it usable for everyone. So that's why the exploded the total demand. So token is similar logic here. Okay. So here I'd like to see that that's a value scissors gap. It demands this clouding in 2 sides. One side is this scissor gap in the right side is towards this collapse to the 0. The other blade is showing with no visible ceiling. So on the right side, so if it's free, everything with AI you can do well depends on upgrade, format fix, the typical answer. So repetitive maintenance. And if your contribution to a project mostly in this column, your economic value, frankly speaking, is eaten by AI. But if on the left side, if everything AI cannot do yet, it may not be able to do for a long time. So architecturally definition, value alignment, security, audit, cross-domain innovation. So ethical choice, these are not faster hands work. They are taste, judgment, design, and ethics. So this is a shift we are observing also. So another thing here I'd like to share is a new unit of measurement. So let me say something about tokens, because it's a little bit about confused. It's not the new currency. It's a kind of we call it a measurement. I want to argue about the token is not a currency. It's a new unit of a measure. So let me show the rough migration for the pricing anchor. From 2024 to roughly 2026, the anchor is in the GPU. It's material scarcity. The NVIDIA has proved this. From 27 to 2029, the anchor migrates to energy, so physical scarcity. And also, again, I think in the 2030s, the anchor migrates to the talent or intelligence scarcity. So here is the essential judgment. Token plays the role of a cost meters, GPU seconds, and the value meters, intelligent output, and at the same time, the same deal call it a kilowatt hour first, invented in 1880s. So this kilowatt hour was not the currency, it was a measurement that made the electricity industry possible. So token is doing the same job for intelligence. So imagine this Android area of the agentic area. What we're missing here is if tokens are the new unit, what is the new operating system? What is Android or the Linux for this agentic area? So I want to suggest the answer is yet to be built, but the shape is becoming more clear. So here is the three challenges we are facing. Maybe like technically, we may need more domestic scheduling and security. Second is in governance-wise, transparency and accountability also is important. And the third one is inclusive. The multipolar GDPR compliant, no single country, no single company should all this agentic substrate. It has to be global legal. So that's why in the right side, the architecture on the right side of the slide shows a roughly shape. So the northbound layer shows the agentic applications. The middle layer is agent OS, and the top bottom layer is this runtime distributed southbound interface. So this is what an agent OS looks like in cross section. So that's why, in short, it should be technical advance, transparent governed, and all inclusive. So that's a process trap that I have to talk about in the transition field. It's quite didn't fit in the benchmark. The human organization part. On the left side of the slide, the Keynes and Adam Smith, from classical to Keynes economics, they wrote the cycle of consumption and production to hiring and wage into the textbook. This cycle assumed the sequential time, one decision at a time, one human at a time, one report at a time. In the carbon area, the most field thing was chaos, errors, and rework. So we invented the process, turn experience into steps, codify experts into systems. So make collaboration replicable, reduce the error cost. Process was generally one of the greatest inventions in the 20th century. But on the right side of the slide is silicon area, and the geometry was changed. The most field these things today is missing out. One step slow, you're out. So heavier process, information no longer needs to be cascade through a hierarchy. It can be quite directly. Dual curation, hierarchy, decision can be parallelized. So this screwed KPI should be changed to outcome formation has changed. The Terra meetings should reflect this low bandwidth synchronized with this divorce, this creation. So here is a painful truth. Yesterday's best process minimizes this error, but today's best process must shorten this convergence. So that's why carbon-based tools, silicon areas tax is a sentence I wanted to say. So Let me ask this question again. That in my experience, every CEO has asked themselves in the last 12 months, why didn't Microsoft, JetBrains, build this cursor first? They had this capital, they had the talent, they had the distribution, they had the AI relationship. But every textbook, by every means, they should have shipped this first. So the answer is on this slide. It's not a comfortable answer. Yesterday's the most costly mistake was an error. Today is missing out. So yesterday's process minimized the error, but tomorrow's best process must shorten the convergence. So yesterday's status management was the company's deep system mode. Today the same management has become the heaviest growth tax it has to pay. So that's the organization are not being replaced by AI. It's replacing by their own slow. The very little that made them safe are now what makes them slow. So Microsoft and JetBrains didn't lose to AI. They lose to their meeting calendar. So by the way, so no big company can skip this. So we have to pay attention. So that's, if we accept all those concepts, that recently a story I wanted to share, I think it's shared yesterday by Mr. Jiang Tao, is look up this slide. Some CTOs, they recently shifted their career. So it looks like they are demotion. They just joined Anthropic like a technical staff. So is it kind of a down-leveling trend? So the headline, I think, is not correct. It's happening in its leveraged invention. So in the carbon era, your power is, as a CTO, maybe come from how many people you can manage, how much the legacy system you can keep alive. So in the silicon area, your power comes from how close you're able to link to the model. Just like yesterday, someone told how many unlimited tokens you could use. So it's the power moves. The power lives next to the model. Leverage equal to model times this understanding, not the head count. So that's why when the come to the 2008, one of the CTOs speak this sentence is quite important. I'd like to share is, if AGI arrives in 2027 to 2028, I want a front row seat. If not, I will know why. So that's why those smartest people in the organization, they are not like before. They try to climb the ladder to the top management layer. They may go one layer down, close to the keyboard, next to the model. So that's why I just roughly show how Huawei's open source governance. We are deeply involved in 26 plus international foundation and 2 AI foundation and 2 plus common protocols. So that's what we are positioning ourselves. We are not a participant, a core builder in this open source governance, deep integration with the global ecosystem. And another thing is why this is important is, please to remember, we are really want to work together with the community and the ecosystem. And also I'd like to show this, we call it, although we are involved in open ecosystem, but we ready to contribute. So we build this full stack AI open source. So from layer 1, this heterogeneous computer enablement can. Our computer runtime is open for Ascend NPU, GPU, CPU, and this interconnect fabric. So this layer are mostly companies stay closed, but we choose to open it. The layer 2 operating system, open EULA, and for the servers, edge, and device, and the clusters, and Open Harmony for the edge and the device as well. So layer 3, the AI framework, and as well as this layer 4, agentic area. So this is point is not to show how much we open the source. The point is the agentic area we have to show in a digital constitution. So that's why I have to show this slide again is this Open Joven. This is an example for agent OS in the parallel area looks like. So the three principles. First is scale as library. Second is this agent as a service. The third one is CLI as a POSIX. And also, they show some examples in the business part, like the Office Cloud for the, how to say, the to knowledge work argument, and the PSBC Cloud for postal saving bank, and also you build this USTC for university for this wet dry closed loop research agent. So OpenJoven is in one line. It's just an agent OS designed for the parallel area. So come to the other side, I wanted to show these three open innovation loop. These three open innovation loop call evolving system, one open chip, one open model, one open platform. The reason why I show this is simple. In the agentic area, no single layer wins alone. Chips need more models to be useful. Models need open platforms to be trusted. Platform need to open chips to be sovereign. So the open only close if each layer is open. Okay. So also let me bring everything together. The next page, please. The AI open source is not shifting in one axis. So when the AI opens, there are five, let me, okay. The next, here, when one person has 100 agents, I think this OPC, I think this maybe should not called open post company. One person company, it should be redefined. The definition for a company, of CEO of individual company, output, patent, contribution, and value alignment and human arbitration, all should be redefined. So that's why this cross-discipline co-builders like economics and the lawyers all are not enough. The Keynes, the Adam Smith, the Max Weber, like Levi's Strauss, all these economics, sociologists, anthropologists, all need to work together. So that's why, so let me bring all this together. That's, we call it a five shifting for this paradigm shift. One is a new leadership paradigm from AI leads, from human leads to AI leads. Human gives only the intent. The second is the process paradigm. Process as a ground truth, machine auditable. The third one is a productive paradigm. Parallels replace this head count. The new collaboration paradigm lets out a quiet revolution, globally parallel. So the new infrastructure, the chip, model, and the hosting platform all together. So that's what we call it another thing I'd like to show is the next page. So now the hard question. When one person has 100 agents, what is left for the concept of a company? So that's why I just mentioned. Okay, next page. And another, next page, yeah. And the next page. Wow. Yeah. So here I'd like to leave you one concrete proposal. I'm calling it a digital 20, or similar like a G20, becomes the place of the world coordinate in the industry and the financial paradigm. So I believe we need a D20, just to coordinate the new digital civilization paradigm. So maybe 4 working groups. It's just like this annual summit, technical standard, economic model, governance, ethical consensus, and all draft this AI area digital constitution. So when code governs the world must govern the code. Okay. So I want to close this with 2 images, and one philosophy. On the upper left, Earthrise, Apollo 8, 1968, the first photograph taken from Earth from another world. The single image reframed how civilization saw itself. It's fragile, it's finite, and it's shared. On the upper left, the upper right, the UN General Assembly Hall. For most of the past centuries, that room has been humanity's stage for interstate dialogue. So the agentic area is still waiting for its digital counterpart. So this philosophy, Ludwig Wittgenstein, he wrote this in 1922. So der ganze meine Sprache bedeuten der ganze meine Welt. So forgive my Chinese accent. The limits of my language means the limits of my world. So in our area, code is the new language. The limits of our open source define the limits of this shared world and the constitution words of it. So this is the line I want you to take here is civilization's next constitution will be code, and the code must be open. The carbon area's time consumption has expired. The silicon area's first signature is still waiting to be rewritten. So what we are building together is this digital community of shared destiny. So AI lead, human arbitrated, global governed and built in the open. So thank you. Let's build it together. Okay, thank you.